Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So normally when I do a guide, I just go here and check out the characters, but as you can see, the collab characters are not in the hero window. Wow. Such wow. That makes no sense. Anywho, I wanted to do this lovely little video going over the slime characters because I think it's funny. I do honestly think it's funny that people are saying up and down that the characters were so bad, and lo and behold, they're actually not that bad. They're actually good, like I've been kind of saying. It just makes sense. The thing about the big thing about any character that's in this game, any character that you see in this list, is that they all have a purpose, and if you want to gear yourself towards that purpose, then you can. And some characters are going to be better than others. That's just like, I mean honestly, yes, Escanor is stupid. He has really good base stats. He has this move and his ultimate alone, and his unique alone are probably the dumbest things ever. It's like you pretty much rush ultimate. It forces the meta to change. When Escanor came into the game, it forced the meta to change. If you wanted to adapt to him, you either needed a really strong fire character, or you needed to make sure that you had ult removal in some way, shape, or form, and that's good. Now this character, I feel like Escanor, he's good, but he has 2 single target stuff. He doesn't have a really strong debuff. He does have ignite debuff, right? And he just is supposed to theoretically just keep cycling his ult. Now with other characters in the game, like Benimaru, who has a different type of setup, he's meant to do different things. Just because he's not as good as Escanor does not mean that the character inherently is trash. Yes, he might not be as strong, he might not be top 10, top 5, whatever like that, but the character is still going to be strong. Let's start off with the man, the legend. Well, he's just here, so let's just I want to start off with the other dude, the Rimaru, but we'll go with him last because I think he's been showing a lot of promise, and Benimaru here is probably showing the least. And it sucks that he's the one that they gave to you last. And now after playing through the story and seeing who Lilia is, now I can give a rat's ass about how strong she actually is, but her character was really cool, right? Lilia's character is cool, and for that I'm upset. I'm upset with like everybody else that Lilia is not in the game. Anyway, let's check out Benimaru. Everyone gets this character for free. He's an SSR, so he will take up your pendants, which kind of sucks. I know. 20% pierce rate, resistance, regeneration rate. Looks like he has a little bit of everything. 30% crit as well. Some crit resistance. He like has every little stat. I feel like some characters have like zeros or very low numbers, like 10s and stuff like that. He looks like he's just built all around, and in this type of game, that's probably why he seems so underwhelming, because no one wants an average character. Everyone wants a character that excels very strongly at things. So let's look at his S1. Oh yeah, we have the character, so we can go into the lovely thing, right? We can go into the thing and live out our best life, right? So his S1 is weak point. It's to a single character, to a single person, and then of course he can actually somewhat ignite it first by doing this one. Now defense related stats is really important to note, because I didn't know the difference at first what defense related stats meant. It actually is not just defense, and like most games you just do the defense break, that's what we like to call it, but this defense related stats actually lowers more than just defense. So let's show you guys that. Beautiful animation also. Then you can hold down and, but you can't hold them down anymore. Ah, you mother. Okay, let's just look at the skills then. I thought you can look at the. I like that. Yeah, actually, like, yeah. Who is that? I forgot what anime that reminds me of. And then you have the weak point here. So now, as you can see, it's gonna do that. I wish he didn't crit, but he has 30% crit, so the odds of him doing that. There we go, about 6,000. Now this is a level 1, so he doesn't have anything. Cool thing about here is that you can reset it in the thing, so now we can do that same thing, right? Doodle damage if there's no damage. Like weak point is very, very strong, as you guys would probably know with Jericho. Very similar thing, just that Jericho has a way to get her to crit automatically. He has 30% base crit, so it's going to be a little bit harder for him to actually hit a crit. And then of course we got the ultimate, which is a lovely thing. It's a single target again, single target. If they have any skills that are silver or gold, he will knock them down at least one by one, right? And then if that happens to them, they lose ult. So not that bad. Let's look at the animation. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I freaking knew it, man. All right, come on, show it to me. ball. Clean. And I forgot, yeah, it's called Hellflare. He was a really cool character in the show as well. So that's pretty much him. Let's go look at the passive. Increases damage dealt by 3% per hero skill used. Now that's important that it's not by end of turn, it's specifically per hero skill used. So with that being said, if you wanted to just prioritize him, you could do that, and his damage will go higher and higher and higher and higher the more that he keeps using skills. So, and it's important also that his damage dealt. So that's a little bit important. It's not that his attack or anything is increasing, his damage dealt will be increased, which in my opinion is not that bad, going up to 30%, but it's not 10 times. Where is that going to happen 10 times? Not even in PvE is that happening 10 times. The matches just don't last that long. But like I said, it's if you're using all his skills. And it doesn't matter if you use the S2, which is not even a damage based skill, it's pretty much setting up his S1. So his S1 will start hitting hard, his ult will hit hard, and especially if you're constantly using him to do your attacks. Now, I like that it shows it here on this website, but it doesn't show in game. A lot of games have this issue. They don't have the common sense to put like important information into the game. So defense related. So whether you have a skill that increases your defenses or lowers it, this is what it's going to increase or lower. Defense, resistance, crit resistance, and crit defense. So that's very important to know. So just a heads up. So defense, a value which decreases damage taken when attacked. So this is if you're taking 1,000, this will make it, your defense will make it go down to whatever. So let's say it's gonna take 20 off. Now you're taking 980, whatever. Easy math, right? So that's defense, right? And then it said crit resistance, a value which decreases the critical, pretty much the ability for you to get crit in general. So not only will you take more damage, the likelihood that you will get crit is also going to go down. Your crit defense is when you do get critical hit, how much damage will that be decreased? So it's like two separate things, you know, that goes through, which kind of sucks though. Crit resistance as a whole, crit defense kind of sucks as a whole, because if you were to stack on the stat, which is why I never recommend it really, is that if you don't get crit, then you just wasted, you know, valuable stacking. And resistance, which is like the weirdest one entirely, is that it pretty much negates a certain amount of damage. And the quickest way to explain it, that person's taking a lot more damage than they should, especially if it crits, because then crit is a higher, you know, crit damage, blah 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 blah. So that is where his gameplay, in my opinion, lies. By himself, he can still S2 and then S1. This lasts for 2 turns even on the rank 1. It only goes up to 3 turns when it's rank 3, but on rank 2, the percentage that he takes away from you is 30% instead of 20. The only issue is that I feel like he needs to be in a AoE team. Now, every character that I'm going to talk about I'm going to give them some type of team comp, because I think that's the issue. I think people are just kind of throwing these characters in teams that doesn't make any sense. I won't need this page anymore because this was my King Boss team, so we can just erase this. Now I just want to bring out a couple examples that I wanted to just, you know, to kind of skim over, right? Now Death Pierce, as you guys know, has a very cool kooky passive that I said was good. Again, have to pat myself on the back. It's like, oh, people are starting to realize that he's pretty good in the sub slot, because he reduces additionally crit resistance and crit defense. So it's going to give your characters an additional chance to actually crit. Now I have Twig here, Twigod, whatever you guys want to call him, just because you guys know his passive works with the red. It just increases their HP though, so it's a sense to make them tanky. But what we're trying to do here is burst out characters. Go through would be really good just because, you know, go through is a pretty staple in most comps, but this would be like a mono red team comp. I think that would work very well. More like this, pretty much. So you would have the AoE defense screw over coming in from Benimaru. You have Hauser, you know, built on a very strong Pierce build or something of that nature. And then you have Gother, who will also, his Doda will do a lot of damage as well. And, you know, it's just AoE damage. So you can, if you don't want to do that, you also have the option of nuking as well. So let's say you don't want to necessarily go AoE, maybe you don't have a strong AoE option, bring one of your single target DPS units, because once he does it to everyone, you can still single out who you want to kill. And then I can even switch in maybe my Demon Meliodas, which kind of is weird. I'm just using him as an example, but he's a good one if you have a, who else is a really good DPS, single target DPS? Oh, that's right, Escanor. You can bring him in, you know, because once you put the spread there, and then you just can focus down on that target. I still think Death Pierce in the back is it would be a pretty good option. You don't have to do that. You can go with something, like I said, like Twiggo or anything, or somewhere stick Merlin on the team for the extra ult. You could do that as well. But my big thing is his S2. Benimaru's S2 is, to me, the best thing about him. And AoE defense, breakdown of defense like that is what even makes, oh yeah, freaking, how can I forget about the good old green bond? I obviously don't have him on this account, or else I would have put him in the slot. Oh, wait, we could fake put him in the slot. This is not the correct green bond, but you know, that's there. So you can actually do extort, AoE extort, AoE defense break, and then have him do fidget spinners all day. And then this slot here can be used more defensively. You can actually use Remimaru, I would say the man version, but he looks like a little girl. You can use that version. We'll go over that sooner rather than later. Really good taunter. Gil Thunder, really good taunter, just so you can take heat off of the characters that you want. Also, if they're running a single target comp, which by the way is King Brum. King Brum is pretty much a primarily single target comp, except when Gold Third does his attack disable, and it will actually keep the green Nunchaku bond and his passive will trigger more often, so it's pretty good. Now, like I said, is Benimaru like the best character ever? No, but my whole point is not to say if the character is good or not. It's just to show you how to use them, to give you guys more options that you might not think of. I personally feel that people always just, if it's not overpowered and broken, they don't want to use it. But I understand you have a limited amount of resources. You know, how long will it take for me to get my Death Pierce online or my Benimaru online? It takes a while. But if you do like the character and want to invest, I want to give you guys options. So there's that. Also for gear, pretty basic here, attack and defense. But I'll give you an argument. I'll give you a slight argument, right? Because there's so much to talk and discuss about this character. So yeah, I'm going to talk about each one individually. Anyway, another comparison that I wanted to give you guys, even though that she has the crit passive, right, Jericho? They do have the same S1. They have the same exact S1 in a weird way, right? So the crit chance is also the same here too. 30%. No, sorry, she has 30% as well. 30% crit, right? They have the same amount of crit and base, but for some reason people just purely rely on this and her spamming a bunch of moves in order to get a crit chance, in order for her to start critting and pretty much nuking people to oblivion with this. Now, he also, in a sense, based off all the information I just told you, once he lowers the crit resist, that's pretty much lowering their ability to take a crit or to receive a crit, or to receive a crit, sorry. So in essence, his 30% is almost a little bit like 50. Just, you know, I'm just trying to sneak that in there. You know, once he does that, you should see him crit a decent amount. So I actually, instead of just attack, maybe you can go the crit thing as well. That might be an option for you. Again, is if you really want him to work. If you're not like trying to force the issue or anything like that, but that's what I'll be trying. That's personally what I'll be trying. I'm gonna try to put him on crit. And it's crazy, his combat class technically is like much higher. It's 500 above Jericho's. But I do think he's a good character. I think you guys would enjoy him. I definitely think that he's not as crappy as people are saying, but he's also not the best character in the game. I'm not gonna lie to you. So you guys let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Benimaru deserves a shot in your team? Do you want to invest into him? Let me know what comps that you guys are running with him. I try to give you guys the best comps possible that I can currently think of in my head. But also, based on the suggestions that I made, he would be better for geared. I don't think he's a character that kind of needs that extra boost of stuff, so he's gonna be in there with the demons. I think that he'll do fine. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the channel, and just remember that every day in the casino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.